Welcome back to ajspeller.com. In today's tutorial, we're going to stick with long division. We're going to use the standard method, but this time the divisors are going to be decimals. All right, let's just do a quick recap. We know our order or the method um, tells us that we need to divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. But we have a saying that we use, and that saying is for the D, we say does. For the M, for multiply, we say McDonald's. For the S, for the S, we say sell. And then for the bring down or the B, we say burgers. So we remember this DMSB by saying does McDonald's sell burgers? Let's take a look at our first example. Say we have a divisor of 4/10, and then we're going to say that our dividend is 48 and 8/10. What I want you to remember here is that this here is actually a fraction, and that fraction is 48 and 8/10 over 4/10. All right. What we want to do here, though, is we want to make this divisor. We have to make that divisor a whole number. Well, to make this 4 here, this 4/10 a whole number 4, we have to move this decimal point one place to the right, and in doing so, that means we have to multiply by 10, because we know multiplying by 10 moves the decimal place one position or one place value to the right. And we also know that anything we do to the denominator, we must do to the numerator. So if I multiply by times 10 in the bottom, I have to multiply by times 10 at the top. Right? And in doing so, these decimal points just move over one place value. So this here becomes a 4, and this here becomes 488 because I moved this one place to the right. And now I can rewrite this problem. This problem is equivalent to this problem. So now I can rewrite it because, again, these are equivalent fractions. So I can rewrite this as a divisor of 4 and my dividend of 488. And then I do my division using the standard method. So let's go with divide first. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. I multiply 1 times 4 to give me 4. I subtract 4 minus 4 to get 0. And then I bring down this 8. Then I move back to division. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Then I multiply 2 times 4 to give me 8. Then I subtract 8 minus 8 to give me 0. And then I bring down. In this case, I'm bringing down another 8. Then I go back to division. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then I multiply 2 times 4 to give me 8. And then I subtract 8 minus 8 to give me 0. Nothing left to bring down. So I know that 122 is my quotient. And now let's go ahead and do the check. The check is the quotient, 122, times the divisor, which is 4. And I want that product to be my dividend. So 4 times 2 gives me 8. 4 times 2 again gives me 8. 4 times 1 gives me 4. And I see 488 matches 488. So I know that my quotient here is correct. All right, let's move on to another example. Let's say this time our divisor is 5 hundredths and our dividend is 305 thousandths. So again, if I want to write that as its fraction equivalent, here I have the dividend is my numerator. So 0 and 305 thousandths divided by 5 hundredths. I need to move this decimal point 2 places to the right. So that means I need to multiply the denominator by 100 to get those 2 decimal places to move, which also means I multiply the numerator by 100. Now all that does is make this denominator a whole number 5. And when I move this decimal point 2 places to the right, I end up with 30 and 5/10. Now I can write this in the standard division format where my divisor is to the outside, which is my 5. And then my dividend is the numerator here, which is 30 and 5/10. And then I can follow my does McDonald's sell burgers method to do this division. All right, I want to 3 divided by 5 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. Then I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. And then I bring down the 0. So now I have a 30. So now I'm doing 30 divided by 5, which is 6. Then I multiply 6 times 5 to give me 30. And then I subtract 30 minus 30 to give me 0. And then I bring down, in this case I'm bringing down a 5. Now I go back to division. 5 divided by 5 is a 1. and then 1 times 5 gives me 5. Then I subtract 5 minus 5 to give me 0. I look to bring down. There's nothing else to bring down, so I'm done. But what I do need to make sure I don't forget is I need to make sure that this decimal point is brought up to the top. So here I see that my quotient is 6 and 1/10. Now let's check that by multiplying the quotient 6 and 1/10 times the divisor, which is 5. So now I have 5 times 1, which is 5. 5 times 6, which is 30. I see I have a decimal point in this multiplication problem, so I need to count the number of places after that decimal point to the right. I see it's only one place to the right. It's also understood my decimal point starts here. I'll go ahead and show it, but it needs to move one place to the left because I circled just one number, so it moves back here. So I see that this product comes out to be 30 and 5/10, and if I look at my dividend, it matches, so I know the answer 6 and 1/10 is correct. Let's move on to our last example. Let's say our divisor, this divisor is 7 thousandths, and our dividend is 7 and 14 hundredths. Let's rewrite this. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it over here. My dividend is my numerator, so 7 and 14 hundredths, and my denominator is the divisor, which is 7 thousandths. I need to make this a whole number. This decimal point has to move 3 places, so that means I need to multiply the top and bottom by 1,000. These 3 zeros force it to move to the right 3 places. So my numerator also times 1,000 is going to move this decimal point 3 places. So in moving this 3 places, 1, 2, 3, this here becomes a whole number 7. And in moving this decimal point here 3 places, 1, 2, I'm going to have to place a 0 here for it to be the third place. So this here 7 and 14 hundredths turns into 7,140. Now I'm going to rewrite using this equivalent fraction. So here my divisor is the 7, and my dividend is the 7,140. Then I go back to DMSB for does McDonald's sell burgers, or divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. And let's begin here with the 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Then I multiply 1 times 7 to get 7. Then I subtract 7 minus 7 to get 0. Then I bring down this 1. Then I divide again. 1 divided by 7 is 0. Then I multiply 0 times 7 to give me 0. Then I subtract 1 minus 0 to give me 1. And then I bring down this 4. I go back to divide. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Then I multiply 2 times 7 to give me 14. And then I subtract 14 minus 14 to give me 0. And then I bring down. Once I bring down this 0, I'm doing 0 divided by 7, which is 0. Let me give myself a little more space. After I do that division, I have to multiply 0 minus 7. 0 times 7 to give me 0, and then I subtract 0 minus 0 to leave me with 0, and there's nothing to bring down. So I see my quotient is 1,020. So I'm going to write the 1,020, and I'm going to multiply it by my divisor, which is 7, and use my standard multiplication to see if this product here is going to match this dividend. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 0 is 0, plus that 1 gives me 1. And then 7 times 1 gives me 7. And I see here that 7,140 matches this dividend. So I know that this quotient here is correct. Alright, that sums up this video by ajspeller.com. And as always, thank you for watching.